I have to ask the question, doesn't it feel like you're selling it out?
Surprisingly, no. I think it's because I do like a really great job of like separating the two. It's a delicate line you have to walk because sometimes you just have to be like, okay, it doesn't matter that you think the word is like really nice to use, that it's like it flows better like this. You kind of have to think sales. You have to think commercial. You have to think what is going to get people to buy this.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of the NexGen show. Today, we will talk to a writer in our industry, and her name is Amira. Amira, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's start with your experiences. Your early experiences, because you've shared some exciting notes with me about your travels.
Yes.
Let's start from the beginning.
Like the very beginning? Like from where I was born beginning?
Yes, where you were born beginning.
Okay, so I was born in Croatia. So for context to all this, my dad is a diplomat. And so that means like we get posted around a lot. He works with the government. I won't say which branch, but he works there. And I was... my whole life has just been like traveling around places. I've just been in like lots of different countries. So I was born in Croatia, then I moved to Canada, and then I went to Malaysia for the first time. That was like 3 years. Then I chowed. I went to Switzerland, where I stayed in Geneva. Then after that, back to Malaysia for a little bit, and then I went to Japan. I stayed in Tokyo. Then after that, I came back here. So most of my life was spent overseas. It was not here, not in the my humble motherland.
And how do you end up in advertising?
It actually is quite a funny story. So I wanted to quit my first job, and I was just applying to like anything and everything. Like I was just, because I did my degree in politics.
Yes.
So obviously, politics dad, like government dad, politics child, like it all made sense. So I did have experience in social media as well, because I did my internship as a social media intern. So at the time, I was just applying to like anything and everything. I was like, I'm just gonna toss my hat in like any place, like anywhere. And so my first agency had actually reached out to me, and they're like, we would like to interview you for the position of social media junior executive or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I was like, I'll take anything.
You got me.
Yeah, I was like, you got me. I was like, I have no idea what this is. I don't know anything about advertising. I knew nothing about advertising, but I was like, I'll just take it. I'll try. And then surprisingly, like the interview went really, really well. But I thought I had bombed it. I thought I did so badly. I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the job. I was like, I'm convinced I'm not going to get it. And then they called me, and then they're like, yeah, we'd like to offer you the position.
Must be your politics.
Maybe they were like charmed by me.
You studied politics, right?
Yeah, I did. Maybe they were like charmed by me or something. They're like, okay, she's got a global mindset. She's obviously Mrs. Worldwide, so we'll like pull her in or something. And I was so shocked that I got it. And I came in like first day, and I was like, oh, I am so woefully unprepared for all this. I was like, do they have like a guide for like a one-to-one guide for advertising? I was like, do I know what I'm doing? But it actually was a really, really great experience. Like the whole year, I learned so much. I learned too much, I think. I was like learning constantly. Especially
so there's no guide, right?
There's no guide. You learn on the job. They toss you in. It's like, you know how like they teach kids how to swim, right? Mm-hmm. They'll take off your floaties and they just put you in like the deep end. Mm-hmm. It felt like that. So I was just like day one, fresh in like the industry. I was like so hopeful, so excited. I was like, I don't know what advertising is, but I'm so excited. And then they're like, okay, big meeting, boom. And then it's like KIV, write that down. I was like, I don't even know what KIV means. And then they're like FA, then like KPIs and all this. And I was just like, guys, I'm drowning. I was like, it's like, can someone hold my hand? But I think the fun thing about advertising is that no one really holds your hand. You just kind of have to hold your own hand and like just do it.
Recently, you've been doing a lot of copywriting, right?
Yes. So I actually...
Is writing a thing for you? Or?
It is, actually. I was really big on English class when I was in high school. I did the IB, which is like A-levels.
International Bachelorette
yes,
or something.
I did that. And I did English, Lang and Lit, higher level. And I scored. I did really, really well. math, I don't look at that. That's why I'm in advertising, because I don't have to deal with math. But English has always been like my thing. I've always loved writing. I used to write like a lot of books when I was younger. I had like a very active imagination. And then going into writing just felt like really natural. It was like a very natural like course for me to like pivot into. And I think especially in terms of copywriting, where there's a objective and a purpose to it, you want to convert people into like your product. You're essentially selling them a solution. I was like, okay, well, background in sales, did advertising for a year. I was like, copywriting is just kind of taking all those skills I had before and just putting them all in to another like job title.
Same here, lah. When I was young, man, I read the Beagles and the Dandies and the Beanos, the comics and war stories, and I loved Enid Blyton and
oh my gosh,
or Enid Blyton or whatever, the
I have
stuff.
so many of her books.
Literature. You did literature, right?
I did. I studied. It was English language.
Don't you feel like now that you are writing, using your skills? Yeah, let's put it this way. Yeah? Using your literature skills, and writing for a commercial reason. I have to ask the question: doesn't it feel like you're selling it out?
Surprisingly, no. I think it's because I do like a really great job of like separating the two. So it's obviously I will always write for pleasure. Like I will always write for myself first and foremost. And so I always make sure I have time to like actually invest in my hobby as a writer.
Okay.
And then when it comes to like writing commercially, to me it's kind of like a means to an end. It's like I have the skill set. I'm not ashamed to use it. That kind of thinking, that kind of like perspective.
It is a battle.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're a writer, in your mind, it is a battle, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Always.
for example, you can write poetry, for example.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh my
and
goodness.
And then here you are writing. It's like, okay, fine. I will write for this. This telco brand or whatever brand.
Yeah.
And then here I am sitting and, shall we say, for one of a better word, healthily arguing about the semantics of things. Mm-hmm. Why I'm here.
Yeah, I've had that thought. It happens so many times, especially because I love poetry. I really love poetry. Don't know anything about it, but I do love it. And it's always such a battle when they're requesting like EDMs or they're requesting like a blurb on the back of a product. And the writer in me is like, oh, I want to make this like flowery. I want to make this like so beautiful. And then they're like, your audience is like mass. They're like, it's most of Malaysia. They're like, the words that you're using, people are not going to understand this. And I was like, oh, but it sounds so nice. And I'm like, but it sounds pretty. And then they're like, yeah, but like you need to convert. And I'm like, I guess.
And one of the reasons that you have to do that is because the machines understand only that.
Exactly.
Like the machines understand free.
Yeah. I can't use I think there was like one time I wanted to use the word ode or like something along those lines. It was like a very, I wouldn't say archaic. It's not an archaic word, but you definitely see it more in like books and stuff. And then I really had to fight for the word to be used because they were like, I don't know if most people will understand it. And I was like, okay, but in this context, people can understand. And I was like, people will get that it's like a poem thing. And I really had to fight for it. And then eventually they kind of relented. They were like, okay, fine lah, you can use it. And I was like, thank you. The writer in me is happy. But it's definitely like balancing commercial, which obviously is like the day-to-day, versus my like hobby as a writer, like where I'm constantly reading like a lot of books. I'm always expanding my vocabulary. I'm investing a lot in my, I would say, just like the love of reading. Like I really, really love reading. I really love writing. It's a delicate line you have to walk because eventually you have to say like, sometimes you just have to be like, okay, it doesn't matter that you think the word is like really nice to use, that it's like it flows better like this. You kind of have to think sales. You have to think commercial. You have to think what is going to get people to buy this.
In that sense, because of the way online works, right? Mm-hmm. There are actually micro segments, that will appreciate that a bit more than, shall we say, everybody else, the mass segment. Yeah. So that's exciting because technology allows you to be a bit more, artistic or put a bit more flair.
Yeah, exactly. Put a little personality into it.
Yeah, personality to it. Yes, yes. Have you attended any client meetings so far?
So far, no, because I am the client. I am the client.
Are you a good client?
I would say I'm very nice. I'm very understanding. But I haven't had to like talk to agencies or anything. That's not, I don't have to do that. We have a different team for that. As a creative, I mostly work internally. So I would say I'm very nice. People say I'm very nice. People say I'm nice to work with.
Okay, you're forgiven.
I won't be a difficult client. I'm very nice because I used to work agency side.
I just can't imagine how you are going to be dealing with writers if you have.
Can you imagine? I don't know.
You'd be so nice, right?
I'll be like super kind. I'll be like, listen, let's sit down for 5 minutes.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, yeah?
We'll see a few years from now. If you like do another podcast, I'll pop in.
Okay, tell us what is going to happen to you in a few years' time.
Whoa, I have no idea actually. I feel like right now because I'm still so new.
What do you reckon, you're going to still be doing this?
Yeah, I would actually. I would love to be like, I said this to my boss. I was like, I would love to be like a senior copywriter, or at least like lead or like specialist. I'd like to be someone who can tell other people how to do copy. But no, I feel like I definitely still see myself in this industry. I see myself like honing my skills as a copywriter, making more of an impact. I feel I would love to. I said this actually during my interview with my boss. I was like, I would love to be able to see my work on a billboard. I was like, I want to get to that point. I was like, I want people to see my work. I want to be recognized for it.
Okay. You tick all the boxes, yeah. What is a brand that you admire?
I'll have to say Zeus. I feel like Zeus, number one, is a homegrown brand. Like, it's very...
Zeus Coffee.
Yeah, Zeus Coffee. So, like, from bottom to top, very, very local. And what I really love about them is how they do their campaigns. So, actually, like, from when I first started in agency, I've always admired how Zeus did their campaigns because it spoke to, like, a lot of people. Like, even my dad, who's, like, almost at retiring age, isn't really, like, much for social media and stuff like that. He was, like, that kind of dad lah. He was, like, he texted me this one time. He shared me their Meow Matcha campaign, and he was like, have you seen this? Like, Zeus does, like, matcha and cats now. And I was like, yeah, like, that looks like so cool. And he was like, I want to buy Zeus. And this man, like, doesn't buy anything. He really doesn't buy. All this, like, coffee and stuff like that, he memang tak nak. He really doesn't get it. Unless my mom makes it, he doesn't want it.
Do you think that advertising, or rather the people who are held responsible for the advertising messages and marketing messages, do they have to be young?
I don't think they have to be. I think it's good to have a good balance, to have a good mix of both. You need the experience of someone who's been there for a while. But when it comes to, like, fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, I'm like, you absolutely need to tap into, like, the younger generation. I think it's such a waste to have, like, all these youths with, like, big ideas, with, like, I would say, like, innovative ways to present, like, advertising, and then not use it. And then be like, oh, but, like, you're young, like, you need more experience. And I'm like, sometimes I would say innovation trumps experience. Like, obviously, you will need experience to, like, guide, like, the whole stuff, because asking me, like, obviously, I don't know, like, every single thing that's happened. I'm not aware of, like, the ins and outs as opposed to, like, someone who is my senior. But I would absolutely say, like, sometimes you just need, like, a fresh, like, pair of eyes. You need, like, a new way to look at things. And I think it's a bit of a shame when, like, you don't utilize, like, the younger generation for that.
I have been noticing, Amira, now people are getting more blunt in their thoughts. Nothing wrong with that. Brash sometimes, but it's okay. Maybe it's honesty. I don't know what it is. But it is quite refreshing.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite refreshing.
I agree. I think it's really refreshing. Yeah, especially for me growing up, my dad was always the type who was, like, very blunt. He didn't hold back. One thing about my dad, he doesn't hold back. So I feel like that kind of translates a lot into, like, how I work, I would say. I also just like seeing I would say people my age or like the next gen, really, I would say standing up for their ideas, like really carving out a space for themselves, like regardless. Because I know, especially like in advertising, the hierarchy matters. Stuff like that really matters. So I always find it like super refreshing when I see like all these awards being won by like people my age or like creatives my age. It just feels like it goes to show that this kind of, I wouldn't say like blunt, but like this honest approach to advertising. It's what's currently like winning people over right now. Like people like honesty, but not too honest. But just enough where people are like, ooh, like that's new.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Amira.
Thank you.
For sharing, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much.
Go forth and shine, as they would say. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to Amira and her take on how she looks at advertising and her experience as a copywriter. Till the next episode. Thank you.